Hello students, myself Sumangla Biradar. In previous video, we already learned about OTP, that is one-time pad, and how actually this one-time pad method works to convert plain text to ciphertext. Now, as I told earlier, if you are go for any encryption technique methods, so before you tell that is a good, first you have to make the analysis. That is what we call as a crypt analysis of OTP. Now in this class we will discuss about crypt analysis of OTP. So now for example, as you already know that if you have the plain text, that plain text if you are XORed with the given key, then you will get the ciphertext here. So now to analyze that OTP method, here I am considering the two plain text messages as P1 and P2 are encrypted using the same key. These P1 and P2 are the two messages. Both if I encrypt using the same key, then we call that one as in-depth. Okay, so now after encrypting P1 and P2, I got the ciphertext as a C1 and C2. So for example, I know what is C1 and what is C2. I already generated now. So now if I XOR C1 with the C2, then I'll get the P1 XOR with the P2 here. So nowhere I require this keys here. Okay, with the help of the ciphertext, I can yield the plain text P1 and P2 here. Okay, so this is actually one of the drawback of crypt analysis of OTP. So in this way I can guess, okay, if both the plain text are encrypted using the same key, then what are the ciphertext you will get? No, those ciphertext if I XOR, then I'll get the plain text back here. Okay, so now even that intruders don't know what is key, then also with the help of those plain text they can get the or guess the what is the key here. Okay, this is the one of the drawback of crypt analysis of OTP. So next one is exhaustive key search. So now exhaustive key search is in sequence you will try to guess what is the key here. Okay, so you know what is the ciphertext. With the help of this ciphertext you can try to guess what is the plain text here. Yes, you can guess with the help of the exhaustive key search, that is in sequence. So you may have the question that if this is the problem, then how I can overcome this problem here? Yes, you can overcome from this problem using the random pad method here. So in the one-time pad, instead of using the same key to encrypt, okay, for all the plain text, so you can use the different keys for the different plain text. Then you can prevent from this type of the drawback here. So let's see how actually it is, okay, easy to guess the ciphertext and the key with plain text and the key with the help of the known ciphertext here. Okay, so suppose we have two plain text, that is like and kite, and that one I converted in the form of the binary. So now as you already know that how to convert the letters into binary form, that procedure you already know here. So now also I have the one key here, this is your key. If I encrypt this two plain text like and kite with the help of the same key here. So this is the key and same key I am using to encrypt the second plain text also. Then what we call that procedure? We call that procedure as a depth here. So now after encryption I got the ciphertext as a C1 and C2 here. So now if you observe the ciphertext, IHST is a ciphertext for plain text like, and RHIT is the ciphertext for the plain text kite here. So if I observe or intruders observe, then they will get to know that here H and H is same and T and T is same here. In this two ciphertext, these two letters are common here. Then easily that intruder guess that. So now in this plain text, the second word and second letter and last letter is same in both the plain text. That is the one guesswork here. So now suppose, okay, in this way they can guess what is the plain text here. So I'll take one example here. Trudy assume that he know what is C1 and C2 here. Okay, ciphertext anyone can see here. This Trudy is an intruder, so they can have the C1 and C2. So now aim of the intruders is what? They have to guess what is the plain text or what is the key here. So for guessing that, this Trudy intruder, he will guess that, she will guess that plain text is kill, and that plain text she will convert in the form of the what? As a binary form. So next, this one we call as a putative plain text here. Putative means what it is? That is generated by the intruders. It is not an actual plain text here. So for this plain text, okay, she know what is the ciphertext, and she will take that ciphertext and she will perform the XOR between the P1 and the C1 here. This P1 is not a plain text, it is a putative plain text here. Okay, when she will perform the XOR, then she will got the putative key here. So that is putative key is what it is? 1 0, XOR is 1, 1 1 is 0, 0 0 is 0 here. Like this, if she applied the XOR between the P1 and C1, she got the result as a key like this. With the help of this key, she will decrypt the second ciphertext, because Trudy know both the ciphertext C1 and C2 here. So when she decrypt with the help of this generated key, so she got the like this. This is the plain text 2 here, but actual plain text is like here. This is not a like here, but it is little bit near to your plain text here. So in this way, Trudy eventually guesses what is the plain text here. P1 is like, and she will obtain the correct key, then she decrypt to find the P2 kite here. So she will make the trial and error method like this. She will try the different types of the plain text as a putative plain text, and she will get the what is the plain text. Once she get what is the P1, then with the help of that key she can get what is the kite here. So for that I'll take the simple example. For example here, if I know P1 and if I know C1, then with the help of this two, if I perform XOR operation, then I can get what is key here. Let's see. For example, see, this is your plain text. Okay, I know that what is plain text and what is the ciphertext, then I can get what is the key here. See here, 0 0. So 0 0 is what it is? In the XOR, 0 0 means it is 0 only. 0 1. So in the XOR, 0 1 means what it is? It is 1 here. 1 1. Okay, sorry, 1 0. This one I have to perform the operation between what now? So XOR between this two. If I apply the XOR between this two, then I can get what is the key here. See here, 0 0 means 0 only, 0 1 1 1 1. Okay, so 1 0, it is 1 here. So in the same way, if I try for this one, if you want you can check. So if you are apply the XOR between this P1 and C1, then you will get the what is the key here. So if you know what is plain text and if you know what is ciphertext, then you can get what is the key here. In the same way, if you know your key and if you know your ciphertext, then you can guess what is your plain text here. See here, 0 0 0, 1 1 0, 1 0 1. Okay, so among this plain text and key, among these two, anyone introduce guess, then easily they can get what is the another one. If the intruder guess the key, with the help of the ciphertext and key, they can guess what is the plain text here. If intruders know what is the ciphertext and what is the plain text, then they can guess what is the key here. Okay, so in this way they will make the trial and error method here to guess what is plain text and what is the key here. Okay, so this is the one of the trial and error method, and with this using this putative method, they will try to guess what is the key here. So with the help of the key, they want to try to guess what is the next text here, because same key is used to encrypt both the plain text here. So if you are using that method, your procedure you call as a depth, and if you are using the depth, then you can easily guess what is your plain text here. This is the one of the drawback of the OTP here. So how we will resolve that one? Instead of using the one-time pad as a fixed key for all the plain text, for each plain text you have to use the random keys here. Separate keys for the all the text here. Then you can prevent from this type of the attacks here. One of the real world example for one-time pad is Project Venom. So this is about OTP and how to analyze the OTP method here. Next we'll go for one of the classic crypto method, that is the Codebig Cipher. So it is Codebig Cipher is a dictionary like book here. It is in the textbook. Codebig is one book. In that book it is like a dictionary. It contains what? It contains plain text and the ciphertext here. So for example, if you want to you have the plain text contain the word as a February. So that one if you want to convert as a ciphertext, just you substitute the ciphertext for the this fiber, February as a 1360. For the word first it is 13732 here. This codebook contains both plain text and the ciphertext. What are the words you will get know? For those words already ciphertext are available. So you just substitute here. If you are substitute, so in the place of these words you substitute the ciphertext and you just send it here. So such type of the method what you call as a codebook cipher. It is same as your simple substitution method. In some simple substitution method, one letter you are substituted with the another letter. Here one word you are replaced with the 5-digit number here. So now what is the drawback of this codebug cipher? One thing is what this codebook is very important. With the help of this codebook, if the sender and receiver both know what is the codebook, if both have the codebook, then only they can encrypt or they can decrypt. If the sender they encrypted this word as a ciphertext 13605, at the receiver end they received this plain text, that ciphertext as a 13605. So now if they have the codebook, in the reverse they will retrieve back the what is your plain text here. But this codebook must be there with the sender and the receiver, then only it works. So here task is what? This codebook you have to maintain securely. Secretly you have to maintain here. So you have to physical, this is the physical maintenance of the book is there. So how securely you will maintain this book? That it is secured here. If it anyone if they get this code book, then they can easily decrypt the what is the plain text here. And next also not resist against statistical attacks here. Statistical attacks means what it is. So here what are the text you are having now? Same text, what are the ciphertext you are having now? It is having, as you know that you are having the 26 bits alphabets here. So then if you are get the words, so that words is what it is. So now what are the words you are using now? So those words, the ciphertext may be repeated for more than one plain text word here. So if it is repeated, then you can go against the statistical attacks. Statistical attacks is based on the frequency here. So as you know that based on the frequency of the repetition of the alphabet words here. So if I take this F and E, so this E is repeated in almost in all the words here. See, this is what here. So frequency of repetition of the E is almost as it is repeated in almost in all the plain text here. So like this they will make the analysis of the frequency of occurrence of the your alphabets here. How many times E is repeated, how many times F is repeated, how many times C is repeated, D is repeated, like that they will make the analysis of the these letters, and based on that they will make the statistical attacks here. So now in this way they will try to guess what is the plain text here. To prevent from the statistical attack, so they used extra additional version of this code book. They are using the additive method here. So now along with the code book, this is your code book, they will maintain one more book, that is what we call as a additive. So in additive, they are maintaining the one more bit. This contains the digits. Okay, 5-digit numbers book it is. Okay, so 5 1 1 0 0 1 1 1 0 0 2 like this. 5 digits, sorry, it is. So like this, one more book they are maintaining here, code book, and one more book is the additive book here. So what are the ciphertext you will get for your plain text? Those ciphertext 5-digit number is added with the this additive book sequence. Okay, 5-digit number, and after adding that, what are the result we will get to? That result they will consider as a code word here. Okay, because to overcome from the attack, statistical attack, they used the additional book as a additive book. Additive book contains what? It contains the 5-digit number sequence here. So from which sequence you are added, that one they will maintain and they will send that to the receiver end. So in the receiver end also both the code book and additive book is there. So from that sequence they will, okay, subtract, then they will get the what is the ciphertext here, and with the help of this code book they will get the plain text here. Okay, this is how code book cipher works here. So now earlier this is the traditional method. Now in the modern also you are using the block ciphers as with the help of the complex algorithms to generate a ciphertext from the plain text here. And the same way in the decryption, converting the ciphertext to plain text here. Okay, and plain text to ciphertext. But at a higher level, a block cipher can be viewed as a codebook where each key determines a distinct code book here. So now for that, okay, now what are the methods you are using now in the modern techniques? So now your method is follow the block cipher. If you are using the block cipher, it is the concept is comes from code book only. But now what are the algorithms you are using to generate this ciphertext? No, those algorithms are complex algorithms like DSA, RSA algorithms here. So there also you are using the one additive method as a initialization vector here. Okay. So whereas in the code book also you are using the additive book and the code book. Now in the modern block cipher also they are using the additive as a initialization vector. So this initialization vector they add to the your plain text to get the your ciphertext here. Okay. This is about the code book cipher here. Is it clear? Okay. Thank you.